Have you been wanting to add new habits to your daily routine and you're just struggling? Now, I've always been a routine person. For instance, I've been taking daily asthma medication since I was about 16. And if I don't follow the same basic routine every day, I might forget to take that life saving medication. But even though I like routines, adding new habits that I know will help me can still be hard. Now, creating healthy daily habits can aid in growing your business, getting your mindset right, and even improving that little thing we all neglect: work life balance. Today, I'm going to walk you through the trick I recently used myself to create an entirely new morning and evening routine, helping me to get better sleep and start my day not already stressed. Are you ready? Before I dive into the how, I want to quickly talk about the why. Now, I work from home like many of you probably do, and I have a very nice home office setup. Having a designated workspace, even though I live alone with my Husky Mac, gives me the ability to mentally shift to work mode when I walk into my office and, hopefully turn that off when I walk back out that door for the day. I like to be working in the office by about 8 a.m. I find keeping standard business hours helps me to stay focused and helps me to tackle the bigger projects a little bit better. My clients also really like that I'm available during the standard hours. The problem? I was waking up at 7:30 a.m. or later, rolling out of bed, making a quick breakfast, and then often taking the breakfast straight to the office to start working. I shower at night. What was happening as I consumed my smoothie and then my monster energy drink was that I was consistently starting my day stressed. I wear a Garmin watch that tracks my stress levels. By 8:30 or 9 every day, I was getting the "let's do a breathing exercise" notification. Sound familiar at all? It's hard to recover your day and stay productive and focused when you start your day in stress. Now, I would maybe be able to relax after taking the dog for a walk around lunchtime and then taking my lunch break, but often my entire day would be a struggle to think through a brain fog. I'd end up working later than I'd wanted to, or working for just a bit after I ate dinner to make up for the lack of productivity during the day. Then I'd struggle to fall asleep because my mind was still racing and stressed. There was no space in my life for that break that I knew I needed, but I wasn't sure where to even start. Now, I'm not sure how honestly I pinpointed that my specific problem was that I rolled out of bed and straight into my day. After weeks of reflection and talking to my best friend about it, I at least finally got there. Now, he had long been pestering me to keep a positivity journal. I tend to trend negative naturally, and he is basically a golden retriever of positivity. I had struggled to add that into my life because I had no space in my day for that. Between wanting to incorporate that and some stress, I started to craft what my new morning routine would look like. So now it's: get up, do not touch my phone until work time. Do 10 to 15 minutes of yoga. Thanks, YouTube. Wash my face, tone, moisturize, get dressed. Then I eat a pre made breakfast at my table. While I'm eating or after I'm eating, I fill out the morning side of my journal. Talk about that more in a bit. Then I clean up, load the dishwasher, and then I start work. It is not fancy by any means, but it was a lot of new steps from where I was: wake up, make breakfast, work. Starting my day with some movement, intention, and reflection also helps to put my brain into the right space to do the creative work that I need to do. Now, I've been following this morning routine for almost 2 months now, and it's been second nature from about the second week. I think I've only skipped yoga, for instance, on a weekday once or twice, and I even make sure that I'm journaling on the weekends. Now, once I've got a routine set, it is easy for me to keep following it, but crafting that into daily habits can be hard from the beginning. So, how did I go from what can look like 0 to 60? I literally just added one thing at a time. Now, before I decided to do the yoga, I'd already been using a Panda Planner journal for my priorities in my day. But I knew that I was missing the reflection on the day piece that I wanted. So instead, I crafted my own setup with a bullet journal. Now, on one half of the 2-page spread, I took the priority pieces that I liked, added a column for 3 things that I'm grateful for, 3 things that I'm pumped for, how I planned to move each day, and an inspirational message I would find thanks to Pinterest. On the second half of the pages, I added a place to track my mood that day, a trick my therapist taught me, a place to add something good about the day, and then a journal prompt question. This could be something super simple that I can answer in just a few lines. And then at the bottom, more than half the page, I have a spot to free write about my day. Now, I found that I needed the space to write about whatever I wanted so that I could reflect on my day about and how I felt about what I was doing that day. Sometimes I write about the business and things I can do to improve my company, and other days I write about personal things only, and sometimes it's a mix. Now, my bullet journal is by no means fancy. I am not an artist with a pen, but it's exactly what I needed personally. Now, it's amazing what starting and ending my day with intention and reflection has done to open my mindset and expand my views of my day. Now, with yoga, luckily for me, it took me a few days to decide what yoga mat I wanted. And then, of course, Amazon took a couple days to deliver it. Now, this gave me about a week to ground my new journaling habit into my routine without trying to add everything all at once. When my mat showed up, I found a beginner's 10-minute routine that I liked on YouTube. And then I did the same routine for 2 weeks straight. The stretches were great and I liked the way that I felt after, but mostly that repetition helped me to ground that habit into my routine even further. I didn't have to search YouTube for a new video. I just got up and I did the same one. Now I switched up on a daily basis, but it was far easier to start with something repetitive to make yoga an easy part of my routine. Now, after I'd been doing yoga about a week, I added in the skincare portion. The 10-minute workout did not make me sweat. What's great about building my own daily routine is that I can focus on what works for me. Now, I quickly realized that not touching my phone during my morning routine meant that I had a hard time remembering my priorities for that day. Now I try to sit down and decide on those priorities the day before as I'm ending my workday. It's far easier to know what I'll need to work on throughout the next day when I'm already in that mindset. I just reference ClickUp and decide what needs to go where. Now, in the mornings, the priority piece is already filled out, and now I just have to review that and then the other pieces of my day's journal. Now, I have been able to adjust and solidify my routine as needed without worrying about losing out on a piece of it. Now, my next goal personally is to, as it starts to warm up throughout the day, it gets kind of hot here in Kansas and very humid. I'm going to add a walk with Mac, my husky, first thing in the morning, and then do yoga and continue my normal routine. It'll just get too hot to walk him near lunchtime, so it's more of a necessity, but I don't wanna lose that yoga piece either. Now, this means I'm gonna have to get up earlier, but the rest of my routine can stay the same. Now, you guys might all be thinking, "This sounds great, but what results have I personally seen from it all?" Well, for one, I sleep better. My sleep schedule has been rough since, well, college, so a while. But journaling before I go to sleep and reading for a bit have helped me immensely. When you sleep better, your brain works better. That's another thing my therapist taught me. Now, in the last 60 days, though, I have completely shifted my mindset around my business. I've always been a bit afraid to ask for help, and I have struggled to do things on my own as much as possible. When I started Captain Coder almost 2 years ago, I never wanted to grow it to a point that I needed employees or anything like that. That's totally shifted. Just over a month ago, I hired my first online business manager. She has been amazing already to shift my whole mindset about processes and getting things into place that I and my junior developer can do to work smarter, not harder. Last week, I took the biggest risk and made the biggest investment I've ever made in my professional life, minus grad school, and I hired a coach. I have finally learned that I need outside perspective to help me see my entire full potential. And it's 100% okay that I need that help and instruction. Mostly, though, I've noticed a huge shift in my mental health. Now, I start my days more focused, I require less caffeine. Well, okay, I'm trying to cut back. And I'm getting more done in less time. I've gone from working 45 hours plus a week to about 35. I'm wrapping up my Fridays at noon now, and I have officially changed my hours, which allows me to take more of my time back. Do I still need to do some internal marketing on the weekends? Sure, but I'm creating a space to give myself the breaks I needed. Now, my overall mood has shifted, and I'm trending far more positively than I have in years. Just don't tell my best friend. He keeps saying, I told you so enough already. Now, I highly encourage you to think about what you're doing throughout the day that isn't serving you and ask yourself, what can I do differently that will help me? I never thought I'd say that I'm a huge proponent of morning routines, but I am now. I am amazed at how much a difference that's made in my life and just how I feel throughout my day. But I'm more amazed at how much everything that I'm doing right now has opened up my mind to growing my business to a point that I never thought I wanted and making me okay with delegating and releasing some control. That's huge. If you want to craft some new, healthier daily habits, just take it one thing at a time. Choose what you're going to add ahead of time, add one piece in, and when that feels easier, add in the next. It really can be that simple. You don't need to jump into all of it either. Take it slow, find what works, and when you see something helping you, you're going to be far more likely to keep at it. Now, if you're looking for a journal to start your own journaling process, if that sounds interesting to you, I'm making 10 sample pages of my own available to you for free. I have spent months finding the layout that worked for me. So hopefully this gives you a good jumpstart at the very least. It's easy to recreate with any dotted journal too. There's a link below where you can go and grab your own copy. Thank you all for tuning in this week. Can't wait to see you guys all next week for another episode of Digital Masters.